Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, and I am here to highlight some more Steam Winter Sale game deals. Of course, this sale is ending on January the 5th. Really, January the 4th should be the day you're looking at to doing your final purchases and so on and so forth. I am going to be highlighting some deals over the price of $20, so these are a little bit more expensive. Alright, guys, relax there. I know, the under $3, under $5, under $10 is where my bread is buttered, so to speak, but we gotta also make some videos for those of you guys that, you know, you've been watching me for years, you came out of college, now you got a good job. What you don't got is a lot of time, but that's a different point entirely. But you got some disposable income, so I got some deals for you guys on some more expensive titles, and let's get right into it, and let's start off by glazing Final Fantasy 16, 50% off for $34.99 for the complete edition with the DLC. I feel like I'm one of the biggest glazers of Final Fantasy 16 on the internet, and I totally get why people have their issues with this game. Look, Final Fantasy 16 is very much a game I would recommend to people, especially if you're not a big JRPG fan. If you haven't played a lot of Final Fantasy games, oh man, I think Final Fantasy 16 for that audience is so good. I have a buddy that literally hates anything anime related, hates everything Japanese, so to speak, and he played Final Fantasy 16 and absolutely loved it. It's literally one of his favorite games of all time, and I think for that audience, the casual audience, it works really well. The gameplay doesn't have the most amount of depth in the world. It's very flashy. It is a super stylish and flashy game that, you know, maybe you can say it's more style than substance. Guess what? I don't care. It's still made, for me, an enjoyable game. I think the soundtrack is incredible. I think the narrative is solid. I think they totally peak in the first portion of the game, and then the rest of the game is quite good. It just is so good for the initial 3 to 4 hours that you're like, oh my god. And it doesn't quite live up to that level the whole time through, but I think overall, narratively, it's still really strong. I had a great time with the game, and for $35, I do think it's a good pickup, and the DLC is quite good. So definitely give that a look. Highly recommend Final Fantasy 16, and just make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. Next up, a more traditional JRPG, Metaphor ReFantazio is 50% off for $34.99. Same price point. This was my game of the year of 2024. I think this game is absolutely incredible. I love this game from a narrative standpoint. I think the turn-based combat has so much depth to it. I thought the characters were likable, and it was one of those games that I wanted to do the optional character story missions and do all of that content to learn more about the characters. I thought that was really, really well done. Soundtrack is phenomenal as well. $34.99 is expensive, but at the same time, this is a, 80-plus hour game. It's going to be quite the undertaking, and I would say, for this price point, it's worth it. It's one of those games that, you know, it's such a lengthy game that I'm not going to be able to go back and, like, do another playthrough of this every year, but every couple of years, I'll probably go back and, at the very least, start a playthrough of Metaphor. Will I get to the end every time? Probably not, but, you know, just love the game, think it's great, and hopefully we do get, like, a Metaphor as a franchise. I think there could be a lot of mileage to it, especially with how Metaphor was received. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, 60% off for $23.99. I'm a sucker for the first-party PlayStation titles. Like, their games generally are just up my alley when they're not doing live service garbage, but Ratchet Rift Apart is a great game. It's unfortunate that Insomniac, you know, they know that they can make the money when it comes to the Marvel titles, and PlayStation knows that as well, and I get why they're focused on Spider-Man and Wolverine, but man, Ratchet is one of my favorite franchises of all time, and just seeing Ratchet on PC I think is so cool because, well, back when I got into PC gaming, 2012 and 2013, around that era, Ratchet would have been one of the last IPs that I would have ever thought would be on PC, just because it's not a franchise that you associate with PC whatsoever, and it was a PlayStation exclusive, but, you know, all of those hurdles jumped over, and now Ratchet is available on PC, and Rift Apart's a great game. Visually, it's absolutely jaw-dropping. It was one of the showcases for the PlayStation 5, and it looks great on PC. Liked it from a story standpoint. I think the addition of Rivet as a character added a new layer to it. It's not a super lengthy game. You can complete it in like 12 hours, but another one of those games that, because of how good it is, I feel like you can go back and have a good time with. So definitely recommend that. It is Steam Deck verified, so You can play it on the deck. Metaphor is deck playable. And Final Fantasy 16, you'd be hard-pressed to play that on the deck unless you want your deck to explode. Next up, Baldur's Gate 3 is 25% off for $45. I'll be honest with you guys, I could not get into Baldur's Gate 3, but this is where I have to put my own personal opinion aside from games and talk about the objective reception towards these games. This was generally everybody's game of the year for 2023. Sure, the slower paced nature of the game wasn't my cup of tea. I do want to go back and give the game another shot at some point, but yeah, it's 25% off for $45. You're talking about well over 100 hours of gameplay, a ton of replayability. Larian did an incredible job of updating the game regularly as well, so go ahead and check that out. There's still 75,000 playing a, narrative-driven story-based game. It's not like Baldur's Gate 3 is a live service game, so that's incredible, but yeah, $45 on that. You can check that out. Horizon Forbidden West is 40% off for $35.99. Horizon Zero Dawn is on sale as well, but it's $29.99 because they juiced up the price after the remastered release came out, which is so unfortunate. I still absolutely recommend both games, but you do want to play the game sequentially, so if you don't have HZD, do pick up HZD. I think the remaster looks great, but is it a game that really needed a remaster? Absolutely not. But talking about Horizon Forbidden West, 40% off for $36. This is legitimately one of the best looking video games of all time, and if you want to say it's graphically the best game ever, I would be open to having that conversation. Horizon, to me, I totally get why people have their issues with the game, but it is like comfort food kind of game to me, and I know that Horizon comes out every 5 years or whatnot, but whenever a new Horizon game comes out, I know that it's going to be a game that I'm going to spend like 50 to 70 hours on and have a really good time. It's much like Assassin's Creed back in the day, where it's like it's honestly one of my favorite franchises in gaming, and I know like Horizon is one of the easiest franchises for people to dunk on, and maybe people view it a lot like the Ubisoft open world games, but man, I love the games from a narrative standpoint. Even if Forbidden West got so wacky by the end, hopefully they recover a little bit with the third game, but man, I love the open world design. I love how much content's in the game. And in Forbidden West, I thought a lot of the side content was well done. And you're talking about, save the world in a universe that has robo-dinos in it. Like, that stuff of, just insanity is right up my alley. And I really liked it. I loved Horizon Zero Dawn from a narrative standpoint. Forbidden West, I absolutely love from a gameplay standpoint. Hopefully with the third game, they'll get it right narratively. They'll improve the gameplay even more, but yeah, I recommend Forbidden West a lot. It has the Burning Shores expansion as well, but yeah, if you're looking to do all the content in this game, quite the undertaking as well, so certainly recommend that. Red Dead Redemption is 50% off for $24.99. You guys hear me glaze RDR2 all the time, but Red Dead 1 is a great game as well. It being $10 more expensive than Red Dead 2 is kind of comical, but you guys know why that is. I mean, it didn't just come out on PC, but it came out back in October, so it's holding up in price. It is what it is. It's Rockstar being Rockstar, but this includes Undead Nightmare as well, and Red Dead 1 is an excellent game, man. As an open-world action title, it's really well done. It definitely isn't the overwhelming open world that Red Dead 2 is. Doesn't have that level of detail and whatnot. It came out all the way back in 2010, but it still has optional content that I feel like is very much worthwhile to do. The core story is really good, and Undead Nightmare is quite good as well, so shout out to that. I wish Rockstar would do more stuff like Undead Nightmare and the episodes from Liberty City like they do with GTA 4, because that stuff will keep us not waiting for a billion years for their next title. I get what they want you to do is, you don't want to wait for their next title, go play their online functionality and go drop some cash in microtransactions, but yeah, nonetheless, Red Dead 1 is great, $25 on that is a great pickup. Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition is 53% off for $38.62. I talk up Cyberpunk 2077 quite a lot, and I was even talking up this game a little bit back when it came out and right after it came out. Now, before it came out, I just want to give myself a little pat on the back because I was one of the people that told people to temper their expectations and expecting this game to be a little bit of a disappointment given how many delays the game had. But after it came out, given all the vitriol that was thrown at the game, I actually liked it a lot more than other people. And now with all of the subsequent updates, I feel like it's generally really, really well received. I mean, you look at the recent reception of the game, 11,000 reviews. reviews, 94% positive. That's showing how much people have moved to liking this game a lot. Phantom Liberty also had a really great reception, which in the complete edition you get. Cyberpunk's incredible from a world standpoint. There's definitely issues with it in terms of how Cyberpunk 2077 was executed narratively. I think there are some pacing issues, but I think the world and the infrastructure that they've laid in place for Cyberpunk as an IP with 2077, and you already see that come through with Edge Runners. Edge Runners was an incredible piece of work. The Netflix anime, they're gonna get a follow-up, I don't know what you would call it, a follow-up season, a follow-up show, let's call it that way, in Edge Runners 2. But yeah, this IP is going to develop into something incredible, and I actually think that Cyberpunk as an IP and the world of Cyberpunk has a higher ceiling than The Witcher. And you guys have heard me glaze Witcher for like damn near a decade at this point, so over a decade. But yeah, I think Cyberpunk is incredible. There are some issues in here for sure, but it's a great game that I recommend everybody to play, and so replayable as well with all of the different play styles that you have. So $38.62 on that. Last of Us Part 1 is 50% off for $29.99. Again, I am a sucker for the Sony first-party titles, and Last of Us Part 1 is another one of those games that had an absolutely disastrous launch. I mean, everybody loves Last of Us Part 1, I should say mostly everybody, but this game was a technical nightmare on PC. But guess what? This game, I want to say, had a mostly negative reception when it initially came out. It has now pivoted to the recent reviews being overwhelmingly positive, with 1,631 reviews, 95% positive. That's what you want to look for. If you want to look for a stat on a game getting better over time, you look at the recent reviews. And overwhelmingly positive for Last of Us Part 1 says that, obviously, and Cyberpunk says that as well with 94%. But Last of Us Part 1 is one of my favorite video games of all time. I've talked about this game ad nauseum. It is a tremendous, tremendous game. Narratively, it is so compelling and so well done from start to finish. And this is one of those games that, you know, you could go back every year and do another playthrough of. I was doing playthroughs of this like every year for a while. 2025, I think, would be my first year in a while that I haven't at least started another playthrough of Last of Us Part 1. I may have started it, dude. Sometimes there's like a dead period and I just start Last of Us Part 1 for 2 hours and then I move on. But I don't think I did that in 2025. But nonetheless, this game is so embedded into my memory. And you know what? I played through Last of Us Part 2 on PC in 2025. So I definitely got some sort of Last of Us content in. But Last of Us Part 1 is incredible, man. Narratively so strong. And the Part 1 upgrade, like, versus the PS3 version, obviously it looks a lot better, has a lot of quality of life updates and things of that nature. But, yeah, the game is outstanding. It is so depressing how they butchered it from a narrative standpoint in Last of Us Part 2. And I still recommend everybody to play Last of Us Part 2. Look, I am one man. I have my opinion. I think the story of that game is garbage. But other people, it's one of their favorite narrative-driven games of all time. One of their favorite narratives. People get tattoos celebrating Last of Us Part 2. Like, there are people out there that love Last of Us Part 2. And I'm not here to diminish that take. If you have that take, more power to you. I think it's garbage, but that's one man's take. Like, that's one man's irrelevant take. So, you know, relax there. I just think Last of Us Part 1 is incredible, and everybody should play that. And Last of Us Part 2, I do think is incredible from a gameplay standpoint. So, there you go with that. But, yeah, you got the Left Behind DLC in here as well, so that's great. Forza Horizon 5 is 50% off for $29.99. I would recommend the Premium Edition, which is $50. Maybe after Forza Horizon 6 comes out, they'll finally put Horizon 5 at a deeper discount, because this came out all the way back in 2021, and this is from software levels of holding up in price. Really, how many games that came out in 2021 or before then are still holding up in price this hard? Like, there aren't that many outside of the FromSoft titles, but nonetheless, $29.99 for Forza Horizon 5. I mean, this is one of those games that, you know, I said Horizon, Zero Dawn, and Forbidden West were comfort food games. How about another Horizon title that's very much comfort food for me, and that's Forza Horizon. If I just want to come home, kick back, and relax, you know, and I say come home as if my job isn't just talking on this microphone, but you get the idea. yeah, if I have a long day for whatever reason and I just want to kick back and relax, Forza Horizon is a really good time as far as that's concerned, and the visuals are absolutely stunning. There's a lot of content there as well, and highly recommend Forza Horizon, man. I'm so excited for Forza Horizon 6. Can't wait for that, and the Japan setting should be great, but yeah, $29.99 for the base game, $49.99 for the premium edition. Then, we just talked about From Software. Gotta give a mention to one Elden Ring, 35% off for $39. I've talked about it, but I have been playing through this game again with my hand literally being held by like 3 of my friends. It started off with only one friend holding my hand through the game, but then my other buddies caught wind that I was doing another playthrough of Elden Ring, and then they came in because I always, you know, I low-key crap on this game with them just because, like, yo, I get this game is incredible, the world design is incredible, it's just, I crap on the game more so as a way for me to cope with being bad at the game. That is literally what it is. But I've been playing through it. My buddies are showing me, you know, this is where you get that, this is where you do this quest line for this, and I'm like, oh my god. I didn't even realize how buff you could get in Elden Ring, to be perfectly honest, and yo, I've been just steamrolling this game. Like, if you... The thing about this game is, like, yes, there's a lot of content there and you can do a lot of it to farm, but so much of it, you would need a guide to really guide you in the right way. Now, I have literal living guides that know this game frontwards and backwards that are helping me with the game, and I'm gonna be transparent about that. I'm not gonna be like, yo, I'm doing it all myself and I'm doing really well. I played Elden Ring initially myself, but it took me forever to get through it because I was so bad at it, and I was farming in an unoptimal way and things like this, so I wasn't having the best experience. And for a lot of people, getting lost in Elden Ring is what they want to do. They want to be dropped in this world and they want to sink 200 hours in the game. I don't want to do that. I do not want to do that. And I also don't want to have a guide next to me that I'm pulling up and I'm reading. You know, I can only read at a 2nd grade level, you guys, so guides like that aren't really going to help me. But, you know, having the tour guide edition of Elden Ring, as I'm calling it, where I literally have other people watching me play the game and helping me, this has made my experience of Elden Ring so great, and I'm loving this playthrough of Elden Ring. I just got up to Melania, and I am getting bodied by Melania, and I have a mage build, so I don't know. A lot of people are gonna say, yo, you're playing this game not the way it was to be intended to be played. You're an absolute loser for playing the game like this. I don't care. Guess what? I'm enjoying the game. If you want to buy Elden Ring, and you want to install mods, and you want to make yourself have infinite health, and you want to take in the world, guess what? More power to you. I don't care. Like, enjoy the game, because I think this game, from a world design standpoint, is so incredible. The lore, if you actually take it in, is incredible as well. There's a lot of breakdowns on YouTube that I would just recommend you to watch, but Elden Ring is outstanding, man. And I don't know if with this playthrough I'm gonna sit down and dive into Shadow of the Erdtree as well, but I'm like 60 hours deep at this point, and I'm enjoying it. Some of that I'm sure was AFK time, but I digress. $39 for that. As far as how much content you're gonna get, it's really good, but I still am of the opinion it's not for everyone. Guess what? I'm enjoying the game right now as having literal tour guides hand-holding me throughout the game. Most people probably don't have 3 separate people that know the game frontwards and backwards that they're friends with. I do, and they've kind of optimized the game in a way, for me, it's the most enjoyable experience possible. But again, that's just for me. Elden Ring is a game you can play in a myriad of different ways, but, you know, that idea of sitting down, having the book next to me, figuring out, oh, go here, do this, do that, like that's just something I don't want to do. And the game does give you general guidelines on where to go, but as far as getting some of the best stuff, you could totally miss it while playing the game. And, you know, getting some of the best stuff and one-shotting the bosses. Dude, I'm one-trying some of the major bosses in the game. And guess what? People might say again that this isn't how you play the game. I don't care. It makes me feel like a badass, and I'm really enjoying it. But rant over on that. Next up, we got Sekiro Shadows Die Twice as well. This is one of those From Software games that's just gonna hold up in price for eons. 50% off for $29.99. This is more tailored on parrying. Like, if you go into this game and play it like Dark Souls Souls, you're gonna get absolutely bodied, but I digress. It's $29.99, and it's not gonna get any cheaper. You know, if you want to check it out, play it. A lot of people think it's the best From Software game. This is another game where I got brutally obliterated. Like, bro, I get brutally obliterated in pretty much every Souls-like. Like, that's gonna be a reoccurring trend, unless the Souls-likes got an easy difficulty, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, First Berserker Kazan. But at $29.99 for Sekiro, you can check that out. Star Ocean, the second story, R, is 50% off for $24.99. One of the more underrated JRPG releases of the last couple of years. This is a great HD 2D rendition of Star Ocean 2, which I played second story back when it came out on the PSP with that port. It initially came out on the PS1. This version looks great, great soundtrack. Story, as far as JRPG story, didn't blow me away, and I'm not crazy about the characters in this game, but $25, I think it's still a pretty good pickup. Love the visual style, gameplay solid, and a good buy there. Lies of P, 50% off for $29.99. I've talked up Lies of P quite a lot as well, and they added an easy difficulty to this as well. Although, I think most of you guys can make it through this game on the normal difficulty. I don't think it's, like, brutally challenging, but it definitely has a bit of challenge to it. Love the aesthetics, and I've always said when it comes to Souls-like games, a lot of what sets them apart for me are the aesthetics, it's the atmosphere, it's the tension that they build, and so on and so forth. And Lies of P has an interesting narrative to it as well, and the ending was really well done. I think for $30, it's a good pickup. This is another one that has been holding up in price. Overture has come out, that's the expansion, and that was really well received, so yeah, check it out. But the Overture bundle is $60, so that's quite expensive. But nonetheless, $30 for the base game I think is pretty good. Kingdom Hearts INTEGRUM Masterpiece is 50% off for $49.99. This gets you Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 and 2.5, Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, and Kingdom Hearts 3 and the Remind DLC. This is a ton of content for your dollar, but bear in mind, it's an expensive dollar, given that it's $50. But, yeah, Kingdom Hearts 1 absolutely shows its age. I've talked about that quite a lot, but, I think it's still a quality game to go through, but man, is it dated. Kingdom Hearts 2 is still a banger. Rechain of Memories is a game that you should go through. I know that it's kind of seen as a spin-off, but it's very much important to the, you know, narrative of Kingdom Hearts, so keep that in mind. Like I said, Kingdom Hearts 2 is phenomenal. Birth by Sleep is excellent. And then you do have Dream Drop Distance in this bundle as well with 2.8. You've got Aqua's Fragmentary Passage, and you have Kingdom Hearts 3 and the Remind DLC. You also have cutscenes of some other titles. It would be great if we could get a remastering or, you know, a real ground-up release of Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2, because it's a Nintendo DS game. I get it. It very much was designed with the DS in mind, but you could figure it out, brother. We could figure this out to get 358 over 2 and get that, you know, upgraded, released as a modern title. You released that at $50. You telling me people wouldn't pick that up? People would absolutely buy that game. And that's a key part of the Kingdom Hearts story. Like, people like Roxas and Organization 13 and all that mumbo jumbo. Like, it would do really well, but nonetheless, that's not available yet, but $50 for the whole saga pre-Kingdom Hearts 4 is pretty darn good. And lastly, we got Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2, 60% off for $23.99. Great deal on Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. Really well done third-person action shooter there, and a game that they've been updating pretty regularly with a lot of bonus content, free updates, and it's one of those games that, what I've said about this is that it really harkens back to my favorite era of shooters, and that's that PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 era of shooters, where the fun factor was absolutely first and foremost, and it was about that chaos and carnage, and I thought Space Marine 2 really took me back to, like, the heyday of Gears. But yeah, highly recommend that. Great pickup there. But that is gonna do it for me. Again, we went pretty long with this video, but you know what? I kind of rambled on some stuff, you know, Elden Ring and whatnot. That's why we got it broken down. Links in the description box below, and you can skip some of the rambling. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, thanks for watching, you guys, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.